Hi! Hello, everybody! Oh gosh, I can put filters on. Should we try one? Yes. Okay, we're gonna see Valina is there to start. Perfect. I see you. She's there. To participate, please say yes. Thank you for joining, for being here today. Here in Buenos Aires, it's pretty ugly outside. Oh, there she is. Ali, can you see me? I can't see you.
Wait a second, is that I can see you, but I can't see me.
Yeah, I can't see you either.
Let's see, wait a second. Oh, can you see me now?
Yes, see you
Hello,
there.
Kata, how are you?
How are ya?
Hi there. How are you?
Very good. It's
Good,
very,
nice to see you.
yes, you too. It's very ugly here today. The
Well,
weather is very,
here in the south, it is also kind of horrible. Just for 2 hours, we had some sunny day, but then now it's like cloudy and stormy. So, well, I just close the windows and ignore the weather outside.
where are you at?
Well, I'm just in my house. I live in Lomas de Zamora, kind of far away from the whole world, but uh, it's like the countryside, kind
It
of
is?
farm style. Yes. How about you?
I'm in Buenos Aires. I'm in Vicente Lopez. For everyone here watching, Alina and I do not know each other. We've never met face to face. We've only seen each other through
Unbelievable.
Zoom, right?
Yes, yes. This is only the unforeseen advantages of the pandemic because Kata and I met in an online course kind of recently. And then, thanks to the magic of theater, it's like the theater drew us together, and so here we are.
Exactly. Bueno, I want to tell a little bit about myself for those out there who don't know who I am. I was born and raised here in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. I went abroad to study musical theater, and I am an actress, and I've been teaching drama at schools, private institutions ever since. And thanks to the pandemic, I was able to teach remotely all over the world. That was another advantage. So how
Great,
about you,
great.
Alina?
Well, I've been an English teacher for like many years, like let's say more than 20 years. And I've been teaching all ages, adults, teenagers, kids, very little kids, babies ones. And the last 15 years, I was like kind of more focused on teens between the ages of 12 and 17, and also very, very little kids, like 3, 4, 5 years old. And I've always been like kind of close to games. I always have a kind of game-based teaching style. And so since I am curious, I've been investigating and experimenting. So poor my students have been my guinea pigs all these years. And yes, but well, I think it is time we started sharing some of my experience with other teachers. You know what, Kata? I think that there are many teachers that love the idea of actually using games in class and drama games.
Yes,
For some reason, they feel that they are not ready to do it, or they are not capable, or they do not have enough confidence to do it. So one of my main purposes of having this beautiful talk with you should be that one, like inspire those teachers and help them to take the
absolutely.
first step, you know?
Absolutely. And my goal also is for everyone out there to know the benefits that playing games and drama strategies and techniques bring into your classroom and into your students' development. And these are skills you cannot get with other type of methods or techniques. So it's really useful. So why don't we start with the benefits? Because after all, this is benefits of drama in the classroom, right?
Let's begin. So you go first, Kata.
Yeah, so the first benefit we were discussing is the use of language in a free environment. And in theater, what we do is we set sort of a perimeter, a boundary, a frame which is kind of funny because now with remote learning, we are all stuck in a frame, in a perimeter that's a little box. So we set a frame or a perimeter, and we allow actresses or actors to move freely inside that frame or that perimeter, that boundary. And if you do this in your lesson, you're letting your students make their own choices and personalizing their learning experience, which will bring an acquisition of the language. The learning experience becomes memorable because it's personalized. And also, as a consequence of this, we have students that are empowered. They feel more secure about themselves, about the choices they're making. We have students that are developing self-management skills and other skills we're going to talk about later, but these sort of frame or boundary we're structuring allows to use the language in a more natural or desired way for them. As we say in theater, go
sorry,
ahead.
no, I totally agree with that. Like that frame you're talking about is very much similar to real life situations. And so this is like whenever the student is faced with those, they have,
I think you froze.
they have this,
Or is it me? Did I freeze?
sorry, a little bit, yes, I saw you a little bit kind of frozen in a while. I don't know now if you can see me well.
Yes, perfect. Carry on.
Okay, no, that I was saying that whenever students are faced with all those options and choices they have to make, this also, whenever they make a choice in acting, is like a way of taking responsibility for their own decisions. And so if a student while acting decides to, I don't know, I will do it this in this way, and then I will move towards that place. So those are decisions that contribute to a sense of ownership. But in a way, students then will say like, well, this is what I did. It's my creation. I did it. And so this develops responsibility and also ownership. And then one of the things,
yes, in theater.
No, but I was going to say that this environment and the theater itself is so much connected to games that kind of there's a playful atmosphere, because and that playful atmosphere ends up like reducing the level of stress and lowering down the anxiety. And students, whenever they feel this kind of playful atmosphere, will feel like more, how can I say, motivated to participate and to produce the target language in a spontaneous manner and in a spontaneous style. Yes? So.
Yes, exactly. It allows, I mean, when we hear the word freedom as teachers, we're sometimes scared because we think this implies like sort of getting my room out of control. But because it's focused, and as I said before, there is a boundary, students tend to engage more in the activity and feel motivated, as you were saying, rather than go out of control.
Yes, it's like a control chaos. You
Yes,
know, like
exactly.
it's a control chaos. But from the outside, people might believe that you have the class out of control. But that's not the case. Are we ready to play the first game?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. So the first game we're going to play is very related to what we're talking about, the free environment, and it's called Action Reaction. And this game is based out of Meissner technique. He was a very well-known teacher and actor, and it consists in getting out of your head, right? Looking at your partner and not focusing the attention in you, but in someone else. It requires active listening. So I have to be really I have to be like really attentive to what you are doing. And it's about making your own choices. As we said before, the free environment, it's adaptable to all ages. So basically what we're going to do is, I'm going to do an action, any action, and you will reply, answer, or react to the action I'm doing, okay? So you have to wait for me to finish in order to react. Ready? I'll go
Okay,
with the first one.
I'm ready.
Alina, that's my shirt.
No, that's not your shirt. This is the one mine gave to me for my birthday. You're confused.
Yes, very good. Now you
Great.
try.
I try now. Kata, don't panic. Just turn slowly. Behind you, there's a huge tarantula.
Yes,
Good.
I loved
Very
that
good.
one.
Very good.
Okay, another one. Okay, yes. Alina, I'm pregnant.
I can't believe that. Congrats. Who's the father?
That's a tough question. Great. Now your turn.
Okay, great. One more. I have one more. So you react to this. Hey, come, Kata, come. Look at my new car.
You bought that
Yeah?
with a teacher's salary?
Don't make so many questions. Yes? Would you like to go for a ride?
Of course.
Let's go. Good.
Ferrari. Great job. Excellent.
That was
So you can
excellent.
do this
Good.
You can do this with any age group. If you are teaching young learners or performers, you can adapt this by just gestures or physical and body expression reactions without the sentence. If you're in more an advanced level, you can develop this with, you can lead this into a scene or something that has a bit more dialogue, and you can adapt this in a distance learning environment, a face-to-face, a remote environment. You can go by pairs. What I do in my remote lessons, I make one student act and everyone else reacts so that everyone has a chance to participate.
What I did, I used this activity this week. And what I did was like work on the exploitation of the possible reactions. And so that was super interesting because imagine, I don't know, the case of the tarantula. So it's like I had 2, 3, or 4 volunteers reacting in different ways with the same action. And so it was very interesting to see the variety of reactions, based on the same input. So that was interesting
Right.
too.
It becomes super rich, a rich experience.
Exactly, yes. Let's move on to the second benefit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good. So, second benefit that drama offers to a teaching situation is connected to social skills. By definition, we human beings, we are social beings. We need to interact with our peers. We need to share our opinions. We need to hug, kiss, and that's how this is so hard. This pandemic is so hard for everyone. It is a fact that keeping this interaction with others is like what keeps us emotionally and mentally healthy. So if you have well-developed social skills, probably your quality of life will be better. And so how can theater help us? Well, there are many social skills that you can train in theater that then are very much beneficial and useful in real life. For example, flexibility, adaptability, teamwork, the capacity to make quick reactions, the capacity to make decisions on the spot. And most of all, there's something that is very clear in theater, has to do with our problem-solving skills. Why? Because in theater, we always have a conflict, actions that sometimes go like one opposing the other. A character may have a goal, may want to pursue that goal, but there's an obstacle in between. And so this is when you are faced with choices and decisions to make. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna face the problem alone? Are you gonna face the conflict with the help of others? Are you gonna ignore the conflict? Are you gonna dodge and put it off till the future? So those decisions that can be trained in theater then are the same decisions that you will have to make in your everyday life, because life is full of conflicts and full of unexpected conflict situations. So there's something that the theater setting can suddenly, the theater setting can become like a safe place for those students who maybe are not confident enough in real life to face conflicts, but in the theater situation, they may face that conflict from the point of view of a character. And so once they gain that confidence, then they can use those social skills learned in theater into real life.
Exactly. And this is a lifelong skill. It's something that you will carry with you for the rest of your life. And the root of theater, why theater is what it is because there's teamwork and we're doing collaborative work all the time. And there's something I always say to my students, even in a small exercise, I depend on someone else to carry the action forward. Even in a small game we're doing in class that has nothing to do with the presentation, I need the other person in order to move on and advance with the game. And there's something I always say, that when you're acting and you're doing something with a scene partner, you should be worrying about the other person's problems. So, okay, if they forget, I should be doing this. If they fall, I should be reacting like this. And if you're worrying about someone else's problems, you're sort of letting go because someone else is worrying about your problems. And it sort of becomes something that we are all connected between each other. And this always also helps with celebrating each other's achievements, right? I'm happy for your success and you're happy for my success. And this is something that a team, a collaborative team has to have. And especially with the pandemic and the isolation happening, we need more games that develop team building and social skills, because we're all inside our bubbles. We need something to break those bubbles and connect with others.
Yes, definitely. And there's something that I noticed, especially with teenagers, is because this is the age group I work with in theater, that whenever the groups are not like so much experienced in drama games, it's like at first students have this intuitive, reaction that whenever there's something that goes wrong, they immediately like point out at the one that made a mistake and they come up with something like, no era eso lo que tenías que decir. And so it's like, this is something that as teachers, we should try to kind of help them realize that they should keep on acting and that they have a common aim as a group.
Exactly.
And so rather than exposing the mistake or the something that went wrong, they should just incorporate that into their action and try to make everything go on, advance, and reach the aim, all right? But wait, this requires some training as well. And
of course.
And also this capacity to react quickly, that it is something that should be trained. And also this flexibility to accept different opinions or to accept sometimes unpredictable situations,
Exactly.
like this is what we have. We need to do something about it.
And that also, I just thought of it as you were talking, brings the aspect of respecting my classmate, not only when he's acting, but when he's speaking, how to, I talked about celebrating each other's achievement, but there's something about not interrupting, taking turns, respecting when someone else is sharing. So this sort of creating a positive environment because we're all in the same team is very important.
Yes, clearly. Yes, it is. Are we ready for another game?
Yes, let's play another game.
Good.
Do you want to introduce it?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so this game is called Mirror Mirror, and it's basically a game that there's a student A that's going to perform or do something, and student B, or you can, if you're doing this remotely, maybe the entire class imitates student A. So student B or the rest of the class have to imitate and do the exact same thing as student A, as a mirror. So for example, what I do first to set the ground rules and to show the perimeter, the limit, is make them raise their hand. So for example, I go, oh, Alina, can you raise the same hand as I'm raising, please? Exactly. And I try to move slowly to show Alina the pace I am going to move for her to catch with me. If I move really fast, she won't be able to follow my lead. She won't be able to mirror me. This is a great teamwork. As I said before, if I go too fast, I lose her. I have to be considerate about the other person of what I'm doing. And I don't have to worry about succeeding or not, because as I said before, this is a team building activity. You
Yes,
can make
yeah.
this.
And also acceptance, you know, because you
Yes.
you accept what your partner chooses to do, and you don't question, you just imitate, you mirror what the other person does.
Exactly. And you can make this mirror activity themed. So if I'm working on a specific vocabulary topic, I can make a theme out of it. So for example, what if we were working with professions, let's say, and we would have to do professions, and the person, the student B or the rest of the class has to imitate my profession. Would you like to go first, or should I?
Okay, I go first.
Perfect.
So are you ready?
Yes.
Good. So
Sorry. Hold on. Technical issue. There you go.
okay, are you ready now?
Yes.
Good. Done. So
Okay, let's
what
see
was
if the people watching can guess. What was
okay?
the profession?
I don't know if that was that clear. Let's see if someone wants to just write down the profession. I don't know if that was that clear. So in the meantime, maybe you can go with yours, and they can write them both professions.
Okay, perfect. I'll try mine. Okay.
Oh, someone guessed the profession. Good.
Yes! And I see they're guessing the second one. A painter.
And the first one too, Kata. The first one too. Many people wrote firefighter. Someone wrote bombero in Spanish. Yes, good. So an artist. Good, lovely. Yes, well, this activity also can be done, as you said before, this can be done maybe with daily routines, with animals, with any area you are working with. You can adapt it, and it's excellent.
With parts of the body as well, using just one part of the body. You can use it with music and incorporate free movement, whatever they like. That's no limit. The limit is the music.
Yes, that's how I use it with my students. I just ask them to move around freely, following some sort of song that I played. And it was a great idea just to use it as a warm-up, because breaks the ice very easily. And this question of having music and movement is like immediately you have them ready to keep on working. Just you set the mood So it's a good activity to do
I
as a
see
warm-up.
someone is saying otra, otra, otra. Ah, too much pressure.
Okay, I have another one. I have another one. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. So tell me when you're ready. There's a little delay, and so I cannot see you.
Yeah, but you know what?
At the same.
This is great. The delay is great. You know why? Because it happens in a normal lesson as well. And you should tell your students that for the sake of the team building activity, you need to carry on despite the delay or the internet problems.
Yes, that's another example of an obstacle and a conflict that you have to face in life. Okay.
Exactly.
So, ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
So, what was that? Let's make
What
people
was
guess.
that? So whoever
The one that said, otra, otra. So
yes.
maybe.
Yes.
Oh yes, good guessing, good guessing. That's great.
Excellent.
Yes. I don't know. Let's see if.
So this game can be adapted in a face-to-face format, in a remote format, in a social distancing format. And I know I keep on saying social distancing format, but when we get back to class, we will need to keep our students apart, engaged, moving, having fun, because it's going to be a tough time. So these games can really work if you're stuck in a square meter, for example.
Yes, definitely. Yes, we need to start anticipating that scenario. Yes, because we might probably have to be outdoors, and so this is another lovely way to keep our students engaged in games using the space that we might have in some institutions, in some schools. Yes.
Exactly.
Good.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
So
yeah.
I don't know if my Wi-Fi connection is off or yours, but sometimes I see you frozen. If that happens, like I'm gonna carry on. So
Good.
the last or another benefit, because there are thousands, we only choose some of them. The other benefit is that development of soft skills. So drama is known for one of the few activities that develops soft skills in young students, in adults, in teenagers, whatever. And then again, this soft skill is a lifelong skill, something you're going to carry with you in every aspect, your professional life, your family life, every aspect of your life. What are these soft skills that are developed through drama games? Good self-esteem. This is very important because we have tons of teenagers, kids, or even adults that have a hard time with themselves. So this is a good chance to have this sense of achievement, of accomplishment, right? Without being a competition, we are achieving and accomplishing something. Also, it develops good time management skills. And this is very important, especially for little ones, that they lose track of time completely. Also, tolerance to frustration, something even me as an adult have trouble with sometimes. Autonomy, independence, or self-management. As I always say, by the year 2035, we're all going to be entrepreneurs. So we need those self-management skills. We need to be able to set a list of things we're going to do and follow them through and carry them out and don't miss something. So if we plan, we execute. So that's another thing, planning, and also adapting, being open to situations. These are all soft skills that, as you might have noticed, develop emotional intelligence and being truthful to how you feel, creating empathy, because if I know my feelings, I can see them in someone else and help them out with that. So these sort of development of the emotional intelligence should not be underestimated. It's very important for all
Now that
age
you're
groups.
talking about that, Kata, you mentioned the word underestimate, and this is something that I would really want to highlight. That there's this kind of, I don't know if it is a preconception or a kind of rooted tradition, especially, I mean, in generations, older generations, but sometimes my own students say something like, but when we have theater, in fact, we're not doing anything, and just by listening to all the skills that you have just mentioned, I wonder, why is it that nowadays we still have this kind of, I don't know if it is a prejudice or what, but people still have this idea that doing something useful is like learning the traditional subjects, which of course are very much useful, but look at all the skills, all the emotional skills that we can help our students to learn through theater. So you mentioned emotions mainly, and so and well, self-esteem, which is a key issue for teenagers. It's like such a difficult age, full of changes that they need to build up that self-esteem. And also this question of the empathy. It is important to develop activities in which they can put themselves into some other people's shoes and try to see life from a different perspective. And so all in all, we're talking about emotions, yes? So I think that we as teachers, especially in this moment, in this pandemic we're going through, we should try to make our lessons engaging and at the same time memorable. And I think that one straightforward way to make our lessons more memorable is by resorting to emotions. So we need to try to work on that. There's a phrase I found that it's a very well-known phrase. Probably you know it. It's by an Afro-American writer whose name is Maya Angelou. And the phrase goes like this. Probably you heard it. I heard it many times. It goes like this. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. And so that's why if you are able as a teacher to make your students laugh, if you're able as a teacher to make your students feel empathy, if you're able to make them become aware of their own talents and their own abilities, that is like, so you did it. Yes, you did the most important thing. So
And as you might have noticed, all of these skills interconnect between each other, because we are now talking about self-esteem and emotions. But when we first started, we talked about owning your own choices and decisions. And this is something that's very connected with emotional intelligence and emotional development. And acquiring the language because the experience is personalized and memorable is also connected with emotional intelligence. So everything interconnects. And the games we were showing, they don't necessarily respond to one of the benefits. They can apply and be used in a lot of different ways, and they can help us in a lot of different ways. I see a question here that says, what do you do when children do not turn on the camera? And if you allow, Alina, I want to answer first, then you can go.
Okay, yes, no problem.
Because at least here in Argentina, it's sort of against the law to ask a student to turn on the camera, because there's a trabajo remoto law that protects kids and adults, their privacy, and they're not willing to share their image. I know this is more difficult in higher levels when you're, like, let's say in the university and you need to sit for an exam or something like that. I first try to connect and reach out to them through other channels, like the chat, or maybe their audio is on and I can speak and talk to them even if I can see them. And then my second strategy is creating an engaging class strong enough for them to want to turn on the camera. So maybe we're doing a group activity and everyone is really involved and having fun, and we're all talking between each other, and sort of this person ends up turning the camera on. Maybe not that class, but maybe the next one he or she does. And it's a process. It's not something we can do from one day to the other. You can also reach out after class through email, through telephone, on the same platform when everyone leaves. What's up? Have you been doing? Maybe there's something going on in their houses that we have no idea. So I think connecting with students, because we're trying for them to connect, why shouldn't we connect with them, is a great tool to engage them and make them participate. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you. I think that we should try to kind of persuade them to turn on cameras through motivation. And as I said before, I teach different subjects at school. And in the case of theater, it's like all of them have the cameras on, because they know that most of the activity require like this question of being attentive watchers and observers of the other people's reactions. They already know that because I've been having the same subject for many years. And so, for example, in the games we played, in the mirror game, we cannot do it with the cameras off. There's no way. And in the case of the action-reaction game, it's very interesting to see the facial expressions of the other person. So in a subject like theater, I think that it is easier to have students with cameras on. Now, maybe in other subjects, this gets like a harder thing, but I eventually talk to them and I explain to them how meaningful for me it is to be able to make eye contact, although we have a screen between us. So yeah. I try to make a point that I'm not doing this. I'm not asking them to turn on the camera because it is a regulation and imposition, but I try to explain to them and persuade them to do it, that for me, the communication is better if we are able to see each other's faces. And then we're able to share more things, you know, because right now, well, in your case, I can see just the wall, but in my case, you can see my living room, you can see the two pictures I have at the back. If I move the cell phone, you can see my dog sleeping on the couch. So it's like you are sharing many more things than only the teaching moment. And they are able to see you as a human being. And there's a closer connection. So all those things also count to make the distance shorter. Yes, since there's no way to be face to face, there's no way to hug them, there's no way to look at each other like this. So at least we should have the cameras on. But then it is the student's decision. Okay, so
yeah. Should we do one more game?
Yes, we have one more game. Yes. Do you want me to explain it?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Well,
Someone's asking if your dog is alive.
I don't know. I don't really know. I'll let you know later on. Yes. For the time being, let's keep it like that. He's quiet and he's silent, which is the most important thing I want now. So this last game we're going to play is called Everything Counts. There's a small requirement. We need a prop, but it's a very easy prop. We all have these props at home. It is something like this. Let's see, Kata, if by any chance you have one of these things at home. Do you?
Yes, I do.
Oh, what a coincidence. What a coincidence. So this is the cardboard roll from the Rolisec. You know, everyone should have one of these things at home. Now, as a teacher, if you are planning to...
And if they don't...
That's why. As a teacher, if you are planning to... thank you. Yes, my dog is very cute. Someone is telling me, your dog is so cute. And I didn't show you my rabbit. I will later on. So, as a teacher, what you can do is like tell them one class in advance that you will need this, and you can show to them, you know, exactly what you need for the next class. Yes, if you are dealing with kids, maybe you can send an email to their parents so that they have the objects ready. If you're dealing with teenagers, it's like, well, you rely on their memories. If not, they might try to find one on the spot. Yes. So, but well, sorting out all those obstacles, I'm going to explain the game. Everything counts. What's the idea? Very quickly, you, Kata, and me, we're going to take turns to invent different uses for this cardboard roll. So the idea is to transform this into all different sorts of things and create
Anything counts.
everything counts, and to create a very, very short context. This is optional, then we can discuss that depending on which age group you're working with. But in our case, we will be creating a short context that kind of supports or backs up the use. So are you ready to begin?
We are showing, not telling. So we are showing what the object is that we are creating. We're not telling. We're not saying this is whatever.
No. We're doing, actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
Clearly.
If you're teaching young kids or young preformers, you can just make it all about the physical expression. And if you're teaching more advanced level students, you can add, as Alina and I will do now, like sort of context, as she was saying, of what the object is or what am I turning this into.
Definitely, yes. Are you ready?
Yeah, would you like to start?
Yes, I start. So, ahoy, my mates! A ship is coming! Your turn.
Excellent. That's like a telescope, right?
It is.
Perfect. I'll go next.
Is your date today?
Are we ready to party?
Yes, always. Always. Let's get out. Good. Excellent. Next. I can show you the world. Na 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 na.
Yes, wonderful. I'll go next. Ooh.
Yuck.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Next. Hi, dear.
Hi, Granny.
Can you tell me,
how are you?
who are you? My oldest granny or my youngest?
I'm your oldest.
Oh, you have grown up so much. Good. Next.
Wonderful. I'll go with another one. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I could have used this as a candle too.
Yeah, why not? Many purposes. Now, I have another one.
Oh, very clean of you. Very clean of you.
Yes.
I'll do one. And this is an object that appears every time I play this game. Ready? You know what it is?
It was a delay in the image, and I could only hear the sound of this. And I said, what is she doing? Then I saw that you were very much involved in your PlayStation game. Yes, good. Lovely, definitely. That would be number one in teenagers, especially. I have one more. How about this? Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. So.
Yes, very good. Or another very trendy among teenagers.
Oh, yeah. You know, this is teenagers are known as the thumb generation. Yes, because they have an overdeveloped thumbs. They will end up with big thumbs like this. Okay. Well, I don't know. There are many more things. I don't know if you want to keep up trying more uses of this, or maybe we can expand the possibilities of this game in the class.
Yes, this game is perfect to think outside the box, to be creative. It's a wonderful game to break out of your shell. So for those shy kids or for those kids that maybe are not willing to participate a lot, it's a perfect game because it's comfortable, it's not too risky. It requires a lot of attention and planning because you're sort of waiting your turn and planning and thinking what you're going to do. So that's multitasking. And it
Yes,
works on
sorry.
critical classes.
There's something that we should try to say to our students before we start playing the game is like, there's no room for repetition. They cannot come up with the same use that someone else had already done. And so this requires students to be like paying attention attentively to what the person is doing. If you want, there's another possibility, especially with teenagers, this also works very well, that you can kind of introduce the element of competition. I know that you don't like competition that much, but sometimes could be kind of extra motivation if you divide them into teams. And so you say like, well, the team that runs out of ideas is the team that we have to bring candies for everyone next class, let's say, if we were in an in-classroom situation. But well, this is an optional
When
issue.
I play this game, I add a time limit factor. So each student only has, let's say, 10 seconds to create or come up with a new object. So it brings this adrenaline and how do I work under pressure sort of obstacle into the game. And
Yes.
this works very well in a face-to-face format. If they are not sharing the object, you can use this hybrid or in a social distancing manner. It can work remotely. When I do it remotely, I make them all do it at the same time, and then we take turns so that they sort of get a hold of what the game is like and how to warm up towards the game. And yeah, it works for every age group. As I said before, we can add context or we can just rely on gestures, and it works for every group size. So if you have like 2 students in class or you have 50, you can play this game too.
That's excellent. That's excellent because it's a very versatile tool. The game is a versatile tool. Now, what I do with more advanced students, like maybe with students who can handle the language better, or with more theater training, is like we select one of the uses, like the ones that they like the best, and then I ask them to develop kind of a scene building improvisation. And so this is interesting because maybe, I don't know, they choose the telescope, and so they have 2-3 minutes to come up with an improv in which 2 pirates, whatever they want, and so they have to do it. This is a kind of bonus track for this same activity, and you can do it depending on the group you have.
They can, I just thought of it, they can even jump in on the spot. Like if you're doing the pirate thing, I could say like, save me, I've been in this island for like 20 years, hello, over here, and like create a scene out of it, but that's way too advanced.
Yes, because you need to know that some of them will actually jump in. If not, they will be forever saying, save me. Yes. Okay. Well, are we able to like kind of recap everything we have said so that the main idea is clear for everyone?
I think the main idea for everyone that's just joining or they joined after the introduction is about that drama games bring so much into the classroom and the teaching environment, and they develop so much more than just a worksheet, especially in this context. Our sort of message or intention here is don't be afraid to use these techniques. Don't be afraid to fail if they don't work. Try again, try in a different way. You will look foolish, that's part of the game, that's part of the trick, and all it takes is a few seconds of courage and move forward with the game. And you will notice that amazing thing happens, and the feedback you get from kids and from students will be worth the try. And
Definitely.
this sort of activities, because they require for you to live in the moment and not to think about your future or what's going happening next or what happened before joining the class. This sort of living the moment, as you said, Alina, it's a great stress release. You sort
Yes.
of take this bad energy out of you.
Yeah. And a final message for teachers now. It's like, I know because I've been talking to teachers and they say, oh, I like to do it. So it's just a matter of kind of stepping outside this comfort zone. And you know that this pandemic, Kata, if you think about this pandemic, since the onset of this crazy process, we have been experimenting new things. We teachers, we have been learning to use new apps. We learned from one day to the next one how to use Zoom, Google Meet, Google Classroom, everything. We learned how to make videos, how to edit videos, how to upload them on YouTube. We learned the new codes of remote teaching, yes? And none of those things were in our ideas or in our dreams back in February. So if we were able to adapt to that unpredictable situation of the worldwide lockdown, why wouldn't be able to put these drama tools into practice? I mean, it's just a matter of, come on,
Yeah.
let's just take the first step. And there's one more important thing. Sometimes teachers, not students, teachers themselves, kind of self-label, then they say, ay, pero no soy creativa. I'm not creative enough. And bullshit. I mean, sorry, we can all develop our creativity. Yes, we can all train that. It's just a matter of daring and going a little bit
Yes.
beyond our own limitations.
And
So,
I always say that there will be days, I promise you, there will be days where you don't feel creative and you feel stuck and that your classes are terrible. So those days, what I do is I rely on the students because they are usually more creative than I am. So I present the game even if I have no idea how to play and what sort of objects to create out of this tube, and they come up with so many ideas that I feel inspired and I sort of get into their wave. So it's not about being creative, it's about being bold, it's about being willing to fail, it's about willing to motivate, engage your students, and basically have fun. You have to be willing to have fun. You're gonna laugh, they're gonna
that's
laugh at
that's
you.
the key. That's the key. If you don't have fun yourself, then there's no way you can kind of create that in your classroom. So this should be genuine. I mean, it should be you the first one enjoying the situation. You know, I have such a great time, like because I am the first one to get involved in the game, and so anyway, maybe you as an adult, you've been like away from the playful attitude, but we all have this kind of child inside, and so we should like go back to the child we used to be and realize that that child is still there, alive and kicking, and we should try to get more frequently connected to that child.
Yes.
So definitely try, because I am convinced that this offers beautiful, amazing, interesting results, and students are grateful. Then
Yes.
they appreciate that, they want more,
They
and
remember
they
you. And if they remember you, they are remembering what they're learning. So, as I said at the beginning of our talk, this helps the learning experience become memorable for everyone, not only for students, but for teachers too.
good. It is as
And
simple as
yes, and before we finish, I just wanted to say that next Saturday I will be doing a workshop on drama tools to be used in the remote or virtual classroom. A good teacher is a creative teacher. I'm reading here. Yes, I agree.
definitely. Thank you,
But
Amy.
but if you're interested in joining, just send me a private message And if not, you can stick in my Instagram account and check more ideas and inspirations. And Alina,
I do join Kata's webinar, which is gonna be great. I hope I could be there. Yes.
Yes, I hope that too.
Okay, so I will be there too. A pleasure, a pleasure. And you can kind of look for my account on YouTube. It is Miss Alina. There you will find plenty of videos with ideas for you to put into practice, and games and ideas to put into practice, and songs and stories to put into practice with little kids, and also with tips for teachers as well. So go and check.
Alina, it's been a pleasure knowing you and doing this with you. I'm so glad we finally met and Zoomed together.
I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, Kata.
Yes, exactly.
It's like we are close friends already.
Okay, thank you very much. Any last words or questions, anyone?
Let's wait to see if we have some. Anyway, we have like what, 2-3 minutes for this live to finish.
I'm not sure. Instagram does not keep track of time. It only warns me when there's 1 minute before it ends.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
All right.
So anyway, thank you so much, everyone who joined, and I hope we'll see each other soon.
Yes. Right? Next Saturday.
Yes. Bye. Have a lovely Sunday tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Thank you, Kata, for everything, for inviting me.
You too. Bye.